Good morning. This is Coffee with the Summerland Kids. I'm Jerico Woggon. This is Aaron Riggs beside me. We're old classmates from Summerland Elementary School, Summerland, California, 93067. That's what's up. I'm in Colorado. Aaron's in California. We're just doing a little live chat. This is actually our episode 113, 113 reboot, because last time we had a little bit of streaming issues, but here we are again, rocking out another edition of Coffee with the Summerland Kids. Cheers.
Yeah. It's getting the winter time, getting things ready. We
For
it was kind of cool because we just jumped in on this and said, yeah, let's start meeting every day.
Yeah.
And I had some things going too, the winter schedule, but we decided, we got to do some changing, and we decided to keep it rolling at least for a little bit, at least once a month.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are. Yeah.
I'm still having coffee, but I got a new coffee cup.
Oh, I like it. That's cool. That's a nice one.
Which is pretty cool. It's a friend of mine, and it's his business. So he's got the little saying, he's got the little logo.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's cool because I drink the coffee out of it, and I drink the coffee, and it helps me remember kind of his little saying here. It says, a cleaner energy way of life. So it's like, because we're living on our energy, right? Our passion, our love.
Yeah.
We're living on what makes us tick. A lot of times it's like, oh, you got to get the firewood in. I don't know if you necessarily love the lumberjack life, but I know you put your love into the firewood, as part of one of those things that I guess, life throws at you. You got to get ready for the winter. Yeah. But as far as like what you're choosing in life to do, as far as like your archives, and that's your passion. That's that's the name of his company, is the Passion Company. So that's the energy you want. You run on energy,
Yeah.
And so passion is a clean energy source rather than anxiety or fear. I'm not going to pay the bill. I got to get to work. There's a lot of different motivators.
I
got the coffee cup, and so.
That's awesome.
I figured I'd go on a little bit about it.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so I just did a, it's like kind of like the season does take you out of it eventually, but right now I could still drive up that road and still get more wood. I haven't been able to in the past few days. I've been sidetracked on a refrigerator that's on the fritz. It went A.W.O.L on I think Thanksgiving Day or something. So at least we got the meal done, and then we were able to kind of keep things fresh for the leftovers and whatnot. But now I got to replace, I think, the thermostat on the refrigerator. I cleaned I got behind it. I've done a lot of prep work, and I've done some other cleaning things on the refrigerator. So now it's like, I did have a technician came over, and he said, kiss and goodbye, man. That was his take on it, but he's not a propane refrigerator expert. And the new ones are like something like what my mom has is like freaking $2,500. So
propane fridges are expensive. And that's one of those things. Like, I mean, campers. I mean, I've got a camper that's got a propane fridge. It's an older one. And they're expensive for a new one. But I imagine you could search around, because I find these campers, like the Lance camper that I sold.
Yeah.
Right. That had a propane fridge in it.
That's cool.
The camper that's in my front yard that I bought, a friend of mine had, that I bought from him or whatever, got from him over some old debt.
Yeah.
And it's got a propane fridge.
Oh, nice.
And it was a song. You can sometimes get those things literally for a song and a dance, or just show up and pick it up.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure what it costs to like take one of those to the wrecking yard or to the dump, what you'd have to pay or get. But I know that looking at a $2,500 fridge, maybe you can find an RV or something and salvage the fridge out of it. Use the RV for storage locker or something.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm probably gonna buy the part, because I I've traced it down where I think it's the thermostat, because I talked to the technician at the it's called a unique brand, and that brand makes a lot of propane refrigerators for off-grid living. And the cheaper ones, they have some ones for like 1,700 that are smaller. My mom hates that. She likes her large refrigerator, but and we do have a standalone chest freezer, and we're running that. I'm kind of looking at, and that runs off electricity. So I'm kind of looking at possible, you know, looking into it a little bit more as far as, you know, I could replace that part for 150 bucks, which isn't a bad thing. And I could probably, if I don't end up using that part, or if it doesn't work out, I could probably sell that part, you know, and get my money back, or maybe they have a return policy. I have no idea, but you know, it is challenging sometimes when you know, the gut instinct. One of my friends told me, he said, it was, shout out to Scott Azell. Sorry if I pronounced his last name wrong, but Scott said, you know, a friend of his said, always keep your old appliances and just keep fixing them, because a friend of his went through like three dryers or three washers or something. It's like, hey, these old ones are built different, and they're built to actually replace parts versus replacing entire units. So,
Oh yeah.
you know, in our society these days, it's kind of become, you know, buy a new one. But it seems like everywhere we turn, we just had two of our cars repaired. We just have two vehicles, but they were $1,000 each basically to get them going. So it's at every turn, it's $1,000. You know, it seems like these days. So, anyways.
Oh yeah, and then you
it.
know, by the end of the winter, the end of next summer, you're going to need tires. There's another half of $1,000 or
Yeah,
grand
yeah,
if you got, you know, a
exactly.
pickup truck. Usually it's a, you know,
God,
700, 800 bucks at least for halfway decent tires, if not 10 or
right?
1,200 bucks.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's crazy.
but
That truck of
we keep
yours?
on going.
How's that truck of yours doing? The old was it a V10 or no, was that it? V10
The
or what
old
was that?
V10 Dodge. It's
Yeah,
I took it for a spin the other day.
nice. That's
Um,
awesome.
just to, you know, make sure the battery's going, and it was
Yeah, that's cool.
driving good.
Yeah, that's awesome. You had to do
I
some work
still
to it,
got it. You know,
right?
I was thinking about it and driving it and
Yeah.
parked it, and so now it's sitting again.
Is it a
Um,
Dodge? Dodge, is that it? A Dodge?
it's a Dodge. It's a
Okay.
Dodge.
How's the paint on the hood and the roof and stuff? Is it okay?
Oh, it's you could tell the clear coat's starting to peel up. You know, it's got
Oh,
the
it's got that.
whitening. You know, I guess there's some
Okay.
things you can do for that. You know, like put the clear coat, kind of like it's like a, I don't know what it is,
Like
but
a
it's like a
wax or
wipe
something.
on kind of wax.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a pre-wax of paint. Supposedly bonds with the paint, makes us
Right.
like,
All
there's a
that.
bunch of different things I've seen, you know, where you just wipe it on and it kind of brings back the luster of the paint. It kind of bonds to the paint, and then you can put the wax on top of that. Uh,
Right. How's the
but you know, it
what
is what it
color is it?
is. It's a good
Is it
old truck with a little bit of faded paint.
yeah, is it blue? Is it blue? I
It's
can't remember.
black.
Oh, it's black. Okay, wow. Black. Yeah. That black is desirable um for a lot of people, and I do almost feel like in a colder climate, black is kind of good actually. I mean, I think you're kind of in that 50-50 climate where it's a lot cooler now up there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
definitely heater season.
it's heater season. Yeah,
Yeah, so we got, you know, we got the little gas furnace that heats up, and then we got a little electric, um, kind of one of those little foot things that we have in the kitchen by my feet sometimes when it's cold in the morning.
right. That's cool.
But yeah, big news is I
Yeah,
quit smoking cigarettes, bro.
yeah. That's huge, man.
It's like,
Yeah. Did we go live on Facebook yet? Did you click us on live?
yeah,
What?
I did click it over
Oh,
live over
sweet,
on the
sweet.
Facebook,
Nice, nice.
made
Well,
the audience public.
congratulations, man. I know it's like the first few days for sure. Specifically, I think there is a physical, actual situation going on. You know, with our bodies when we get used to doing something every single day, and our body, of course, nicotine. I'm sure it has like some sort of properties in it that kind of like make you crave it. Right? Is that the situation?
You know, I don't know, because it was kind of mental, and I had been working up mentally,
Okay, preparing.
um,
Yeah.
and then just kind of was sitting here one morning having my coffee, and I'm like, oh no, it's just why even? I wake up every
Yeah.
morning and want a cigarette. I want to have the craving all day, every day. I smoke all day, every day. What's the point?
Okay.
Might as well just not smoke. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
craving anyway. Because if I
Yeah.
smoke a cigarette, I just have a craving later on in the afternoon or
For
later on
another
that
one.
morning for another one, right? Because
Yeah.
I smoke, I just had one. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, the craving, it's going to be there no matter what. This is how I
Yeah.
convinced myself. I'm like, okay, whatever.
That's
I'll just quit.
awesome.
I'll deal with it. And
Yeah. So
it
you're
was
doing
just more mental than anything. I didn't have like shakes
okay,
or
right. Yeah.
uh,
Okay.
I
So
was a
how
little bit cranky. The best way to
oh
describe it is like
yeah,
it was screaming at me in my head all the time.
irritable
Ah!
yeah, yeah, right. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
So
Um
it like took all my
so,
energy just to be
so
like,
yeah. Were you smoking traditional cigarettes like just in a pack, like grandpa style?
no, I have one of those a fancy hand roller.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay.
So I
So you're
buy
doing
the little pre tube filtered tubes,
okay.
and then
That's cool.
tobacco is just by bulk tobacco by the
Oh
ounce or
yeah, that's smart. Yeah,
whatever.
that's what J-Bra does. Yeah. So he buys that stuff like that and yeah, so that's when you get to be a real smoker, I want to say. That's the deal. It's all about the satch, the big by the pound style where it's
Well,
way
heck yeah,
I know,
because it's
dude,
like
cuz
what is it, $10 a pack now, right?
so what is that how many cigarettes per pack? Is there like 20 in there or something like
Yeah,
that?
so it's $20
Okay.
or $10 for 20 cigarettes, right? So you buy them by the pack, the tailor made. I guess you can get the generic brands for maybe $6 or $7 sometimes, whatever, $8.
Yeah.
But generally, it's like $10 for your name brands for a pack.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the pound of tobacco is like $15, and then the tubes you get about 2 cartons. So for about $20, you get basically 20 cartons, so 20
Oh,
packs. So you end up with
20.
a
Okay.
dollar a pack versus $10 a pack,
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
$2 a pack, depending on the price of tobacco and the price of your
Right.
papers, but buck or two a pack, versus $10 a pack. So,
Yeah, that's a lot of savings, man. Like
oh
and but
gosh, got it. If you're spending
thankfully you
$10 a day, a pack a day, a lot of
10
people
bucks.
smoke a pack a day.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
that's $300 a month, dude.
Mm.
That's $3,500 a year. You're saying, oh, I got to fix my car. It's cost me $1,000.
Yeah.
That's both your
That's
cars for 2 years just on cigarettes. So, you
right.
get that's when I switched to the roll your owns. It's like, oh gosh, this is
Right.
the machine's like 10 or $15, and the
Yeah.
tubes, and so it's like
That's smart.
your first pack, it costs you an extra $10, so you put in $30 for your first carton,
Yeah.
which is $3 a pack, but then you don't have to buy the machine again.
You were always better at math than me. That you Aaron thank you Aaron for helping me through elementary school math. That was like
I wouldn't
because
say
your
I'm Rain
mom
Man, but
yeah.
it's funny because I've had friends come to me and be like, "Oh, Aaron, you're good at math. Help tutor me in math." Right?
Mm.
I'm so frustrated, geometry or
Yeah.
polynomial, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and so I look at things, and then so the numbers disappear, and it becomes shapes and colors, and it's much more fun that way.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
but it's a
That's
lot
amazing.
easier. It's a
Right.
lot easier, red goes with red, triangles goes with triangles, right?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so,
Yeah.
visual tricks, whatever, to help organize and solve, for an equation, there's obviously all these different things that you're trying to make sense of. But if you could put them in simpler terms, because that's what you're doing in math. Anyway,
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
story
no, that's
short,
cool.
I got the new cup,
Nice. I like it. That's
still having
awesome, man.
coffee.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, I think what I'm going to do now, because I've collected it, like I seriously think I have 5 years worth of wood now. Um, so I'm good on the wood, but I'm thinking furniture because I dragged a bunch of logs back and did a crazy, bunch of, as long as the lengths I could get, like I guess my friend said, if you want an 8, grab a 9. If if you want 12, get a 13. So I made an effort to get larger logs, the largest logs possible. And I did drag, I think I dragged like 3 back with a chain hooked to the truck. Because the property is close enough to my property where I can drag it over. I did wear the chain out. I did have to replace a pin. I think I'm probably going to get a replacement chain and then run the chain until it breaks, or maybe not. I don't know yet, because it did wear the chain down because I was literally dragging the chain, chained around the log. And but now I'm getting all these things on my Facebook feed about chainsaws and wood splitting and cutting and yada yada yada. So I did build some furniture in Los Angeles because I found a lumber yard that was and I didn't realize I was doing something that you're not supposed to do, but I just walked on the yard and went searching and found these pieces of wood I liked, and then I went back to the counter and said, hey, there's a couple pieces back there, I kind of want those. I found out later you're not supposed to walk on the yard. You're supposed to like go to the counter and be like, yeah, give me 10 8x10s and da 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 da. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing or what I wanted. All I know is I liked the big stuff that was back there, and it was short cuts of big like, what do you call it, wood beams. So I used these wood beams and made some furniture. So now I have a source of logs to work with, and we'll see how I can do with I have an 18-inch bar on the chainsaw. I learned that the 24-inch bar is more commonly bought, but an 18, I'm working okay with an 18. That's what I got, so I'm just working with what I have.
Are you gonna get one of them chainsaw mill attachment things so you
I
can make the
might.
planks?
I kind of like that thing, but I'm gonna try to freeball it at first, because I noticed one time when I was dragging this one log, and I think it was because it had a little bit of dry rot in or something like that, but it wore away a flat spot in the log. So I'm gonna maybe use that to my advantage and try to accentuate that flat spot. So just sort of shave a little bit off, and then perhaps shave some off the bottom. And I'm thinking about making a bar. Um, so create a bar and just use a couple logs to hold the bar up, because the logs themselves are like, I want to say, some of them are so large you can't even put your arm around, like a hug. They're bigger than a hug in circumference. So they're ample size to be substantial pillars to hold the bar up. So whether I use 2 or 3 pieces to hold the bar up, I'm not sure yet, but I'm just thinking about that kind of style, like really crude, simple, large.
Well, that'd be in a way installation art. I mean, you're doing an
Yeah,
installation,
yeah,
and
for sure.
it's going to be this big logs and stuff. I got a
Yeah.
friend up in Oregon, and he's sent me a couple pictures where he takes the logs and the chainsaw, and he makes the bears.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So I don't
Jason might
know.
want to do that.
They look like little bears. I mean,
Yeah,
a couple of
I
them look
know.
pretty cool,
They sell, they
but
sell them on the
I
side of the
guess
road.
it.
Yeah,
That's.
that's
But
something.
I guess I'm totally just like having my imagination is looking at this bar on the
Yeah,
logs up there on the ranchera or whatever
yeah,
the
I
up
know,
at the
right?
Jericho Woggon Ranch.
Yeah,
With the cabin and the
right.
barn and the
I
fifth
know.
wheel and the
God, yeah,
dogs and the cats and the mouse and the.
right. I know. That's what's up. I got my dad's finally. He's moved over to a friend's house, thankfully, because he kind of got the cold mornings, because it'll be 10 degrees colder than downtown. Like right now, I'm downtown. Maybe it's 40, 45, maybe 40 something degrees out right now down here. But out
Mm-hmm.
at the cabin, it's probably like 30 or something. So
So it's just about freezing.
yeah, it's
That's
just
cool.
about
Those
freezing.
RVs, they're okay. I mean, they're better than a tent, but
Oh, I
there,
know.
I was staying in a camper, and it was it was pretty cold out there in eastern San Luis Obispo County,
Right.
up in the hills. It gets kind of chilly, and it
Yeah.
was cold. Oh my god, I had to sleep
Oh,
with like a beanie hat,
oh,
because
yeah. Oh,
it was like cold. No,
I know. And my dad like sort of like realized like that, he bought a propane heater off Amazon special, blah, blah, blah. I think he had to send the first one back because it required like a bigger tank or some BS. So he got a second propane heater and got that going on. But the condensation was building up because he's inside a little, I mean, it's probably a 24-foot fifth wheel trailer, decent size. Um, but then the condensation inside the windows was like water, and then inside the closet there was condensation buildup, and he's like, this ain't what I thought it was going to be like, as far as the reality of the cold winter RV living is quite different than what you may think it's like before you do it. So he's now a friend of his, thankfully, is going out of town, and he'll be house sitting. So he has a house with cable TV and all the amenities or whatever they call them. And so he's happy now that he's in a home, a house with friends. So that's much better. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
It's good. It's good. And so I did work inside the barn the other day, doing a little bit of organizing. I do want to make the barn livable. It will be a labor of love type, thing. But I did get a second opinion. My buddy, upon second view, said it's not a tear down. He said, you can save this thing because it's not that old. It's probably like built in 1992 or something. And they framed it up, but they didn't really go overboard. They just did the minimum. And so it's something that can be elaborated on a little bit. I have to tear off some stuff to sort of, clear the slate, to reconstruct a little bit in some spots. But it would be nice to have like the man cave. I kind of think of, I don't know how many times you've seen Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, but he lives at this old barn and upstairs, and it's a cool spot, so it does have a view out of the windows looking out into the country from the windows of the barn. So it's a worthy prospect. So there's
I've seen some really, really nice barn apartments, whether it's, a loft or even just a bedroom and a bathroom with a kitchen situation. I've seen complete apartments, to where it's, upstairs apartment, downstairs barn, or, and I've seen some really nice ones, you can really, once you get it insulated.
Yeah, that's the key. Years ago, there was a bunch of, I think like 2x8s and 2x12s, big piece of wood. So I put those up on the walls, but I'm going to tear those off because I just nailed them up. And I'm going to tear those down, and then it'll free up it'll make the studs exposed. So that way, eventually, my friend says I need to sort of like maybe get a tractor and yank it. It's because it's off kilter. I think the barn might be off level in terms of how it's currently sitting. Might be a little bit off. So I'm probably not. I may or may not embrace the off factor. I kind of would like it to be what would you call it, plumb and square. I guess those are the proper terms. So
get like a kicker to slowly press it on some straps. Or something, a chain or a pulley or something to eke it on in, and then put some braces in and do the repairs like you're saying, fixing anywhere it needs to be reconstructed, and then building up as far as like insulation and finished paneling or drywall, who knows, vents for a heater or vents for a stove, a wood stove. Maybe even plumbing a bathroom. I don't know how far it is from the septic system or how good a condition that is, where they can support that.
I think it could, because the second we're not now it's just mom and I'm taking care of my elderly mother. She's 77. She's doing great, but with only two people, the septic system is totally fine with the usage and everything. And even with a second bathroom, it really wouldn't affect it. I could totally do it. I did spend a lot of time under the cabin. I still have more time to spend, but right now, I guess, the next project is pretty much, I feel like I'm close to having my time freed up a bit. So I'm looking forward to that, because it's amazing how much time it takes to sort of like go back over things that people neglected 25 years ago. And it really needed that catch up work that I did. Like I did the French drain, and I did a bunch of other things to sort of start the process of where the water goes, because people don't realize like how important it is to have proper drainage. Um, and up here, I noticed in a hardware store, the sump pumps, they call them. So people put pumps in their basements to pump out the water. But I think that's because no one really properly designed the exterior of the home to channel the water away from the home. So they're just dealing with almost like a secondary problem, which could have been dealt with if they would have put more effort to how the water is going to be flowing away from the house, because we get a lot of rain and a lot of snow here. So that's what's up. So
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't take a little bit of a trickle of water to really fill up like a crawl space or whatever. And then, like you said, you
yeah,
kind of dug out a little spot that goes into a drainage
yeah,
so that it's got a little trickle out, or at least equal to what could possibly be trickling in. Um,
yeah, for
so
sure.
that's real important, and it is, it's one of those things to where, okay, 20 years ago or 50 years ago, I don't know how old the cabin is, 30 years ago when it was
Yeah,
moved
30
out,
years, probably 30 years. Yeah,
it's probably okay, put it out there, get it out there. And, if you're not doing regular maintenance, regular, like landscaping or grading, things erode, like,
yeah,
the
for
hills
sure.
erode, the
Yeah,
water channels start digging their own little direction.
yeah,
And
that's exactly it. No,
so,
you're
if
right.
you're not on it there, maybe doing as minimal as possible for 20 or 15 or 20 years, yeah, there's
Yeah,
going to be some big jobs, even if you
yeah,
did your roof perfect and it's a zero maintenance roof. I guess they're only designed, warranted whatever 20 years or whatever.
yeah,
And
if that. I mean, yeah,
you gotta realize, that when you own a house, you got to do the paint. Yeah, okay, it
yeah,
looks nice. It is good to have nice paint, but if you don't do that paint, because that makes it a waterproof barrier and
yeah.
it protects the wood, then you're going to have a bigger project than just painting every couple years.
Right. Yeah. And it is a lot of work. I want to say I probably got 3/4 of the way around with the paint, and on the back side, there's a couple sections I still need to do, but we're definitely beyond painting season now. Probably till maybe March. Let's see, February, March, April. Probably in April, I think probably painting season starts again, more or less. Like when
Hmm.
as soon as the ski mountain closes, um, that kind of signals that the snow's done, and that's around Easter time. So then you can start the painting and staining season. And I did find a good paint that's probably the most affordable paint ever. It's called I think it's called barn and fence paint, and it only comes in red and white. So
Nice.
so that stuff's actually, I did the exterior of the house in that, in the barn, the cabin, I should say, the cabin. So it's red, and it's cool. I like it. I mean, it was already red to begin with, so it's kind of like, all right. Thankfully, I didn't have to match a color and spend a bunch of paint money, because paint's gotten really expensive. I don't know if you bought any paint lately, but it's like you could spend like $60 a gallon or $50 a gallon on
Oh
paint
yeah,
now.
it's expensive. Yeah, I was
Expensive. God.
a friend of mine does like handyman work. He's got one of them spray painter things that you put the hose into the big can of paint and just run around with a gun, and you can do a
Yeah.
whole house in a couple days.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, "Oh, I'm gonna do this person's house, and I got to go get 10 gallons of paint or whatever it was." And they're
Yeah.
all upset because I told them to get the primer included paint, and they want,
Oh.
it has $800 worth of paint or
Whoa.
something crazy like that,
Yeah.
for the
Because
house that he's doing. And
yeah. Yeah.
he was,
Wow.
complaining that they didn't want to spend the extra couple $100, go from the
Oh.
600 or 500 to the 800 for the heavy duty primer
Right. Wow.
stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it could be. I know that when I did the camper, I did
Okay.
with the elastic sealer stuff, right?
Yeah. Elastomeric on the roof.
Yeah, and so I bought one bucket of 5 gallons
Okay.
was like 300 and something dollars
Oh my God.
for
Wow.
5 gallons. It was like 100. It was like 100 and something a gallon,
Okay.
and then
Or
for the 5 gallon or 4 gallon bucket, it was like 300 and something. So I
so
say,
cheaper. Yeah.
saved a little $20-$30 a gallon.
Yeah.
But it was
My
like
buy.
400 or something dollars. I'm like, whoa, for just a bucket of paint, a bucket of
Wow. Was and
last.
that was on the top of the on the Landscamper or the or
That
what?
was on the camper. I got the camper. It's just a tow hitch camper I got
Tow
from a
hitch
friend of
camper.
mine.
Okay,
He
nice.
owed me a little bit of dough, and
Yeah, yeah.
he was in a pinch in his, so I gave him a little bit of money. He's trying to sell this. It needed a lot of work, so I did a bunch of work
Right.
to it. Put a
Wow.
new carpet, rebuilt part of the where the wood was, or had my friend rebuild it, rebuilt some of the
Yeah.
plumbing, and redid the whole seal on top with that 400 and something dollar bucket of paint.
Did it turn out nice? Does it look good?
Yeah, it turned out really nice.
Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, that
All this,
I my old landlord. Shout out to Joe in Los Angeles. I love that guy. Him and Richard is his manager at the Loft complex. I would help Joe paint roofs with that elastomeric stuff because he had a couple buildings and I enjoyed it. You know, you're on top of a building in the middle of downtown Los Angeles with a a roller and some white paint. And you're just freaking rolling that stuff on, man. Definitely get a view and a free suntan while you're at it. You know?
oh yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's
back in the
classic.
day.
Yeah,
Well, for me
exactly.
anyway, back in the day when I used to do physical work, I guess
Yeah,
I don't know how you are physically, but I'm kind of
yeah,
old. I feel
yeah.
old. My back feels old. I got the bad back,
Right.
the bad neck, the bad feet, da da
God.
da. More
Yeah,
complaints than you know what to do with. But at least I got a good cup of coffee.
yeah, exactly. We got that to count on. You know. Yeah. So again, shout out to all our friends from Summerland Elementary. Um, After Summerland Elementary, you went up north, right? To what junior high school was it that you went to?
Laguna, Los Osos, and Laguna.
Los Osos Laguna, and then the high school was which high school was it?
San Luis Obispo.
Slow, yeah, San Luis Obispo High. That's cool. So shout out to my Santa Barbara High School classmates, my Carpinteria Junior High School people. A lot of them are here on Facebook, thankfully. So it's nice. It's like kind of like it's not every day's a high school reunion, but there recently was. Trying to think of his name right now. One of my friends is in a band. They reunited for Avocado Festival. They have a Avo Fest. Of course, the Upbeat is always they're still going. They joined forces in junior high ska band. Shout out to Dylan Judah. He's amazing, like talented musician, singer. He loves reggae, Rasta, ska, all that. He's getting up there in age now because I'm 54. Aaron's right there with me, real close, and frick, a lot of our friends, whether they're just 50 or turning 50, I mean, we've made it to middle age. I mean, I know we lost a lot of guys um, in our 20s and 30s, I want to say. Did you lose some friends back a long time ago?
From time to time,
From time to
we,
time?
we
Yeah.
lose we lose a friend or two here and there, and
Yeah.
it's never the most joyous time, but
No, no. Yeah.
it's part of life. I guess we all get to
Yeah.
go through it eventually. So
Right. Yeah,
um,
exactly. So cheers to the ones we've lost. And, of course, we miss those people and we keep their memories alive. Some of them were on Facebook. And so their memories come up. We are able to share them. So thanks to Facebook for the digital platform. Thanks to Restream for the opportunity and a clear stream today. We got a nice clear run. So
yeah, I
that's
think
cool.
I think the trick is to stay away from Fridays.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, you're
Fridays seem
right.
to be higher traffic on the internet and give us
Yeah.
more trouble.
It's funny, and then that happens here in this little small town when it was Thanksgiving. The traffic slows down, so yeah. So we'll have to get together sooner rather than later. Maybe we'll do another show before New Year's or something like that. Maybe we'll get together before the close of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Drop me a line, drop me a
I'll drop
chat,
you a
drop me a
line.
call.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah. So if you want to wrap it up, it's all
yeah,
good,
yeah.
man.
We'll
Yeah,
call it
call
a
it a
show.
show. Successful 113. Well, thank you. We're Coffee with the Summerland Kids. I'm Jerico Woggon. This is Aaron Riggs. We're old Summerland school classmates. We're just wishing you a happy day, chatting home improvement, chatting fun, chatting life. And cheers. Bid you adieu. Have a great afternoon. cheers to 2024 and bring it on 2025.
All right, brother. Love
All
you.
right,
I'll see
man.
you